It's a bit of an understatement to say that fans of futuristic races have had it pretty tough over the last couple of years. 12 years have passed since the last F-Zero game, and after the close of SCE Studio Liverpool 3 years ago, fans of the Wipeout series have accepted they will probably never see another game in their beloved franchise. Just when it seemed safe to say that the futuristic racer genre was dead and buried, Shin'en Multimedia have stepped forward to the centre stage with their Wii U exclusive Fast Racing Neo, which is heavily influenced by both of these game series. Thankfully, Fast Racing Neo is more than just a cheap knockoff. In fact, it's quite the opposite, and is a wonderfully crafted game that deserves to sit alongside the games that inspired its creation. As the name implies, this game is really quick. Even racing on a track on the subsonic league setting, which is the slowest speed setting available, the vehicles will regularly reach speeds of up to 700 miles per hour. New players may need to take a bit of time to adjust their eyes so they can comprehend what is happening on the screen in front of them, but those who have played this kind of game before should find themselves at home after about 15 to 20 minutes. Pretty much all the staple gameplay features that one would expect of a futuristic racing game are included. There's a boost mechanic, air braking, and the very likely possibility of imminent death. There are two methods of boosting in Fast Racing Neo. The first is performed by collecting orbs that are scattered across the track. The more orbs the player collects, the more their boost bar fills up. The second method is called the phase change. On each track there exists orange and blue boost bars. By pressing the X button, the player can change the colour of the flames emitting from their exhausts. If the colour matches the same colour as the boost bar on the track, then the player will burst forward. If the colour of the vehicle doesn't match the colour on the track, then their speed will rapidly reduce. At first it might seem like this mechanic is actually a bit annoying. I mean, there is a hell of a lot going on in this game without adding in the need to press a button to change a colour. But give it a chance and it soon becomes second nature, and I now find myself switching phases without even thinking about it. Although I also just mentioned that this game features the very likely possibility of imminent death, those concerned that this game may be too difficult for them need not worry, as in my opinion Fast Racing Neo is a lot more forgiving than both the F-Zero and Wipeout series. As you probably guessed, the vehicles in Fast Racing Neo can be totaled, but they can also take a lot more punishment in this game than F-Zero, and if the player's vehicle explodes or flies off the track, the player doesn't have to restart the entire race again. Instead they will just respawn. Respawning will more than likely cause the player to drop back a few places, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, as it's still possible to catch up with the other racers. In regards to the vehicles Fast Racing Neo features 10 to choose from, which all have different stats and handle uniquely to one another. Although I think that the 10 included vehicles are an adequate amount to play with, sometimes it can get a bit lonely on the track when racing against only 9 other competitors. Thankfully, the AI opponents manage to put up a good fight without feeling unfair. They don't feel overpowered, and there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of rubber banding in this game. It definitely does feel like an achievement when finishing a race at the front of the grid. The tracks are all wonderfully designed, featuring fantastic set pieces and breathtaking environments. Visually this game looks superb, and whether the player is racing during a thunderstorm through Storm Coast, or skidding on the ice in Alpine Trust, the graphics look as good as anything else I've seen this generation, which just goes to show what the Wii U can do when used correctly. As beautiful as all the 16 tracks are, it's the small details that really make a difference. The screen will momentarily flash when lightning strikes during Storm Coast, and the player's vehicle will shake when passing a twister on the side of the road during Scorpio Circuit. Not only do these little details make the game world feel more alive, they also show just how much love and care was put into this game's development. In terms of game modes, Fast Racing Neo is a bit light on content, but a fantastic gameplay and very cheap price, it's priced at $10.99 in the UK, more than make up for it. Championship mode features 4 different cups, each containing 4 tracks. Initially only 1 speed setting is available, but 2 more become available as the player progresses through the cups. Once the player has completed a cup, they are able to see their online ranking and how their time compares to the rest of the community. This is a nice extra little feature that encourages replaying championship mode, even when the player might feel they are finished with it. Time attack mode tasks the player with attempting to beat the developer's fastest time, and I'm sure this will delight the hardcore fans. This leaves the only remaining single player mode, Hero mode. Now this mode differs from the regular race mode in that it not only features just 4 races for the player to attempt, but it also changes the rules up a bit. The player's boost is now also used as their shield. In addition, there are no respawns, and all the races take place on the quickest speed setting. This mode is essentially Fast Racing Neo's tribute to F-Zero, and although I do like the inclusion of what can be described as a challenge mode, playing with these altered mechanics actually made me glad that Fast Racing Neo decided not to include them in every game mode. I mean, I love the F-Zero series, but Fast Racing Neo is its own game, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't really find Hero mode to be that fun. I also don't feel as if I have much reason to go back to it, but of course I'm sure that others will love it. If single player isn't really your thing, then don't worry, as this game doesn't have to be played on your lonesome. Fast Racing Neo features up to 4-player couch multiplayer. I haven't had the chance to try it out with 4 players myself, but I have played the local 2-player multiplayer and it runs really smoothly. As far as I can tell, it still runs at 60 frames per second just like the single player modes, which is pretty impressive. Unfortunately, I found it to be rather annoying that it isn't possible to change the orientation of the split screen from vertical to horizontal, as personally I don't like playing split screen with the screen split vertically. Options are something which are absent from the entire game, so if the player doesn't like the controls or if they want to alter the music for example, there is no way of doing so. Luckily I found the control configuration to be near perfect, and the soundtrack to this game to be phenomenal. Still, it is a shame that the player isn't given the choice to be able to change anything. Finally, I'll mention the online mode. Players can race either with their friends or against anyone. The online modes work in a similar way to Mario Kart 8, and that each player votes for a track to race on, and then one track is chosen from their choices at random. Online mode seems to run as steady as the single player, which is commendable for a game which runs at such speed, and I'm pleased to say that I didn't experience any problems with lag or disconnecting at all. I do feel it's a shame there are no leaderboards for the online mode. In fact, apart from racing strangers or friends on randomly selected tracks, there's nothing else to do. It would have been nice to have online cups for example, although I can understand why the developers didn't want to include a plethora of online modes for an eShop game that isn't going to sell millions of copies. In summary, Fast Racing Neo is a brilliant little racer, and while it can be argued that it's slightly lacking in terms of game modes, for a game that is available for a budget price it manages to surpass all my expectations. Fans of this type of game should definitely check it out. It plays wonderfully well, looks gorgeous and is extremely satisfying to play. There is a part of me however that wishes there was a bit more for me to get my teeth into, but I guess that can be taken as a sign of how much I enjoyed playing this game. Hopefully Shin'en Multimedia continue to support this game in the future, but even if they don't, they've already done a fantastic job of producing a game that manages to reinvigorate a dying genre. So thank you, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment below and subscribe if you did, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks for watching, till next time, goodbye.